Two stories for Shabbos. This is a story from the Medrash about a great big tzaddik whose name was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was the day after Rosh Hashanah. Just a couple of days ago, just yesterday. The day after Rosh Hashanah. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai knocked on the door of his neighbor. And you can imagine if you were the neighbor of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and all of a sudden he shows up at your door. Oh my gosh, this must be something really important, really special. And he said to them, make sure this year you give a lot of tzedakah, extra tzedakah. And the family was kind of surprised because, firstly, well, they always give a lot of tzedakah. And also, out of all things for Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai to say to them on the day after Rosh Hashanah, they were kind of surprised or interested that was what he said. But also, the family was not such a wealthy family. They were kind of poor, so they didn't have so much money to give lots of tzedakah. They tried to give a little bit here and a little bit there, but give lots of tzedakah? All right, that's what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai told them to do. But not only that, said Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, make sure that every time you give tzedakah, you keep track of it very carefully and very exactly. Make sure you have a paper or a notebook, a ledger, where you mark down every single time you give tzedakah, the date that you gave and how much you gave. Okay, this seemed a little strange. Why do we need to keep track? Since when do we keep track of our mitzvahs or keep track of our tzedakah? And why is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai so insistent that we do it so carefully and precisely? But if Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai tells you to do it, then you got to do it. So that year, this family, again, who really didn't have that much extra money, tried really hard to always push themselves to give extra tzedakah. Even if they didn't have enough for themselves, they would push themselves and stretch to give some tzedakah. And every time they gave tzedakah, they wrote it down in their ledger. The exact date that they gave tzedakah and how much they gave. Want to go grab Ellie? So what happened is, almost 1 year later, it was getting close already to the next Rosh Hashanah. And that same family got a knock on their door. Have you heard the story? Got a knock on their door. But this time it wasn't Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. It was a wicked, dishonest man from the government who said, you own a business and you haven't been paying your taxes. You're under arrest. And they said, well, we have been paying our taxes. We always pay taxes. The guy was just making it up to try to get them in trouble because he didn't like Jews and he wanted to take their money. You run a business and you haven't been paying taxes. You're under arrest. Either you can go to jail or you can pay a lot of money. He was trying to get their money. And they didn't know what to do. They started crying. Well, we have been paying taxes. So he said, show me your records. Where is your ledger? Where is your notes that says that you've been paying taxes? You keep all the money you make. You don't give it to anybody else. And they said, well, we don't have records of it, but we always pay our taxes. We do everything that we should. And meanwhile, their neighbor, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, saw what was happening. He kind of knew, he had a little hunch that something like this was going to happen. And he came and he said to them, but don't you have that ledger over there in your dresser where you've been keeping track of all the taxes you gave? And they said, oh yeah, we do have a ledger that keeps track of all of the taxes that we've gave from the money that we've made. And they went and they got the notebook that had a list of every single date, how much money they gave and when they gave it. They showed it to the governor. It looked exactly like taxes. And the governor said, aha! Now, he really had no case against them. He said, you've proven me wrong. You have been paying your taxes, and you even showed me your records. And he left them alone. From this midrash, we see that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was an amazing man with incredible insight. He knew, he had a hunch that something like this was going to happen, and he gave them advice of how to avoid it from the beginning. But we also see, maybe an even more important lesson, that when you give tzedakah, tzedakah tatzil mimaves. That tzedakah can save your life. You know, we think that when we give tzedakah, it helps and it saves the other person. And of course it does. That's why we give tzedakah. But it also helps the person who gives. You never know, even if it's not a miraculous story like this, you might not see it as clearly as in this medrash, but in your life, when you give tzedakah, it will end up helping you as much or more as it helps the person to whom you gave it. Good Shabbos, everyone.